we finally got the God Valley incident, okay? Chapter 1160. That shit was crazy. I just got done reading it. And we start up with the Celestial Dragons going crazy over the new revelation of the Davy clan being present in God Valley. Okay, they put them into the games. We see little Blackbeard and other Buccaneers. Apparently, there's only 13 of them. I don't know what that means. Are they including the kids? I don't know. But later on, you're going to see the panel when they say that they have 13 of the special rabbits, the special rare rabbits. That's what they're referring to them as, because they're hunting them like rabbits, okay? So the Buccaneers, there's about 13 of them left. I don't know if that's not including not Davy Jones, my bad. It's not including his father Rocks, okay? Zebek, it's not including him. But anyway, we see Garland talking to Saturn. He's getting praised for starting the whole event, okay? And Dragon is a real highlight of this chapter, okay? He's going through a lot of shit. And that also, it makes me think again. I also got to ask the question. I need to see what not Roger, my bad. I need to see what Garp went through. I know Garp went through something. But why did he stay? Like, we know he's not a complete asshole. We know he's still got a heart and he got morals and he sees what's wrong. He knows what's wrong. He knows the Celestial Dragons and the Marines are wrong. But reading this chapter and reading everything that Dragon goes through, every time I see this Marine shit in these past few chapters, it makes me think like, yo, what the fuck did Garp? Like, what is his philosophy? Completely. I need to know why he stayed, okay? Like, I'm not on that train of Garp is bad and this and that. I'm not on that train. But at this point, I need a stronger justification for him to deal with the Marines. And he's not even trying to climb in the hierarchy to gain more power so he could change the system. He's fine where he's at, doing the little things he can do. I don't know. I need to see something about that. But I digress. Anyway. So we got Kuma here, and Kuma and the rest of his crew, or the people that arrived, the slaves that arrived with Kuma, they number in 150. So it seems like they don't know that Kuma's a Buccaneer, but maybe he's included in the 13. I don't know. That's another side note that I noticed, okay? But this shit is super evil. They could have ended their lives quick. They captured them all just to make them run away. Same thing they did with Shaki. They could have did whatever they wanted to Shaki immediately, but they captured her and preserved her in a jar, made her perfect. No cuts, no touch, nobody did anything to her, probably not even any mental trauma or damage, just so they can keep her preserved for this game. That's some sick shit. Okay, you would think the sick people would like do stuff immediately, but they're so sick, they're gonna wait to do something to you. Okay, that's how sick they are. So like, yeah, half of the chapter is a bunch of like torment going on with the residents of God Valley, okay? As we know, Garland is in the lead. He's killing, and I made a funny note here. Like, I realized that this is probably why Garland wanted a wife outside of God Valley. I mean, outside of the Holy Land, because these bitches ugly as hell. Let's just keep it real. Look at them. Like, come on, bro. All the Celestial Dragons are ugly as shit. And the women are ugly as shit. That's probably why he left his land to go get somebody in the lower lands. And that's kind of ironic. You're leaving heaven, you're leaving your holy land to go get somebody who's perfect for you in the lower realms, right? That's some ironic shit right there. But we learned a little more about Gunko. Apparently she's the blade of God, the devoted blade of God, which makes sense, okay? Because we've seen what happened on Elbaf in the last, before this flashback happened. Emu took her body over directly to exact his will upon the island, like to do the things that, the people he sent out couldn't do themselves. He said, fuck it, I'll do it myself. And he took Gunko over and started doing it with her bodies. Like he's like, took control of her and all that. So the blade of God has, I think that's the deeper meaning to that, because as we see here, she still has the half that what's it called? Now I forgot what it's called when you have two different colored eyes, but she has that going on, heterochromia, right? I think that's what it's called. But she has a different color eye right here, and we know that indicates the fact that Emu is in possession of her body. And we also know that, because we've seen her, she knows Brooke. So she's been like this for a while, probably since she was a little girl or a kid, whatever, right? Emu's been in control of her and has her as a servant, working as the blade of God this whole time. So we're going to probably find out more about what that means. Like, like how did he do that? Why her? You know what I'm saying? There could have been many other people, but why her? So they got Shaggy trapped away, right? Yeah, obviously she looking all glum and gloom and all that, because she could be as like, she is strong as she is and all that, but you overpowered and you're in this situation, of course you're gonna be like, bummed out, like, damn, this shit fucking sucks. I'm gonna have to kill somebody, or I'm just gonna get, I'm about to be a slave or some shit, whatever. So yeah, it's nothing she could really do. That's my point. So yeah, we see Summers down here being an asshole too, by the way. Chasing kids up a tree. He killed the whole family. He killed everybody. The dad goes in and tries to save the kid later, and Dragon sees the wreckage of what's left of that. He sees the same people. They all got targets on their back. This is like one of the moments right here. This is really what made me think, like, yo, what the Garp saw this shit. I'm just thinking, I'm picturing Garp in every situation Dragon's in, right? And every time I see some shit like this, I'm saying to myself, like, yo, if Garp was right here, what was he saying? He, instead of saying, if I defy the celestial dragons, blah, 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 he didn't say that. He said, fuck it, it's a part of the mission. I'm a Marine. And he just kept moving. That had to be what Garp did, because Dragon's like throwing up almost, and he's like, this shit is like sickening him. Like, he's feeling that shit in the pit of his stomach. And what does he end up doing? He ends up defying his platoon anyway. He sees Kuma and the rest of them. And he ends up killing one of the celestial dragons, okay? He kills the celestial dragon. And he said, damn, I done that shit now. I did it. So now he knows there's no going back. At least, I mean, maybe they wouldn't know he did it. So maybe he could have got away with that shit. But he's not about to act like he didn't kill a celestial dragon. Like, he's not about to act like that. No, he's not Garp. He's not about to act like he didn't see people dying and getting killed and children dying and shit. He's not Garp, so he's different. So later on, we see, obviously, the main thing that this chapter is about, right? The Rocks pirates pull the fuck up on God Valley. And I've been saying this whole time, God Valley is gonna happen in a way we can't even picture it, okay? Based on what we know about God Valley already, the vague shit we've already known, I think God Valley, it's not even gonna turn out like that. It's gonna be a complete curveball on what's happening. The fact that Shaggy got kidnapped and she's a part of the reason all of these crews are going there was already a huge curveball in and of itself. We didn't even imagine, and a lot of people, they try to dilute and like try to downplay that plot point, which I don't think it's a bad thing, right? But some people, all of a sudden, they're mad that their favorite character is in love with some woman, or that he would go to like war for a woman, or like, he's trying to kill somebody or fight for the woman. So a lot of people are mad about that. I can't understand that. It doesn't make sense to me, but a lot of people are mad about that in and of itself. They're still mad that people like Rocks and, the Golden Lion Shiki got heart eyes and all that sort of shit. But, I digress anyway. And I want to note something, right? I'll talk about it more later. But I didn't even notice this panel kind of, what do I want to say? Kind of highlights what I'm talking about. Kaido and Big Mom, their relationship is like, Kaido is like a little fucking kid. Okay, he's like a little fucking kid. And like, he's even looking at her. Like, because he needs her to tell him what to do. Like, Linlin, should I do this? Linlin, should I do that? Linlin. He's just asking Linlin every fucking thing, right? We're going to see that later, too. Like, the first thing he asks right here is, are you really going to give me a devil fruit, Linlin? Like, bruh, everybody else is going for their own goals. They're acting on their own will to be here. Kaido was literally following Big Mom around. That's the only reason he's here in the fucking crew. That's the only reason he's trying to fight for anything right now. He has no reason to fight for anything other than the fact that he's following Big Mom around, or should I say Big Sister around. He's following her around, right? That's Big Sister for him. Bad Mom, that's not, that's Bad Mom. That's not Big Mom. Big Mom, the fat, ugly one. This Bad Mom. He following Bad Mom around like that's his big sister. So, yeah, that's kind of crazy. I wonder when he becomes the Kaido that we know, like the Kaido who's trying to kill himself and who's strong as fuck, like almost immortal, and he's been killing people, clubbing everybody with a hammer, doesn't care about shit, and wants to have his own shit. When does he become that? I thought he grew up like that. Like, I need to know more about their backstory, because I know Kaido was like an orphan. He's running around like real rough, beating people up. But when did he become like this? Always dependent on Lin. And when did that stop? I didn't completely stop, because as we seen in Wano, Kaido's still kind of like Big Mom could talk to him however she wants, kind of, right? But anyway, I digress. So we got Rocks pulling up also. So that's the next crew to pull up. We already seen this crew pulling up, but they pull up first, I guess I should say. They pull up first. It starts causing a lot of chaos on the island. Okay, even Garland is like, bro, I can't focus on the hunt anymore. What's going on? Like, there's a lot of noise. I can't focus. So first Rocks, now Roger pulls up, as the rest of the Navy says. When Roger pulls up, it's kind of funny because, as I was saying earlier, he gets trampled by his whole fucking crew. He gets trampled by the whole crew, okay? Like, does this mean he's weaker than all of them? Like, you gotta stop thinking like that, okay? I know people think like that. You gotta stop thinking about all that stupid shit, okay? It's funny. Roger's the type of person he is. Like I said earlier, he's friends with all his crew members. Like, if he's on some selfish Roger shit, like, I want to do something because I want to do it, and it has nothing to do with being a captain, it has nothing to do with being a pirate, they're gonna say, Roger, shut the fuck up, bro. We're going east. We're not doing that dumb shit. We're seeing the world's biggest chicken. We're going east, bro. You talking about some dumb shit? We're going east, bro. We getting the treasure. They might say that. The navigator's gonna ignore him probably. Like, Roger, man, nigga, you seen a chicken before. You don't need to see the world's biggest chicken. Shut up. We're going east, Captain. But if he's serious like Luffy on some captain shit, because it's the same kind of thing with Luffy. Like, they smack Luffy around all day. They tell him to stop doing that or shut up. No, we're not doing this. Like, you're trying to get us killed. It's the same type of thing. So he's friends with his crew, and I don't see nothing wrong with that. People have a problem with that. I know. I don't see a problem with that. Okay. He's talking about, I'm gonna go rescue Shaggy. None of you have a shot at that shit. So go focus on the treasure. They trample him over. Okay, and here we see Garland and the rest of the Celestial Dragons getting disrupted. Now, the Roger crew also pulling up. And we also get an introduction, kind of. Not a complete one, because we don't have their individual names. But we get an introduction to the rest of the Celestial Dragons. Now, I don't know what the fuck is going on with Bullhead over here, okay? But we see this Oni looking Celestial Dragon, and we got this big demon looking Celestial Dragon, and I want to talk about him for a second in particular because he has wings. Okay, you see these wings right here. I don't know if people noticed that. I didn't watch what other people said, but I noticed he had wings. Okay, Emu has bat wings. The first people we seen with wings like this were like demons or like a bat person. But other than that, it was like demons, people, dark people and all that sort of shit, right? So we've seen Robin in her demonio form. She had some little wings, whatever, right? Emu is a real demon, had wings, okay? I'm wondering, and I think he has horns too. I'm pretty sure this is an indication of a horn. And I didn't take the full screenshot, but there was some thing floating around like in an arcing motion above his head. And it looked like it's kind of indicative of a halo. Like he had a halo behind him, like Zamasu, like, the halo that floats behind your back. I don't know if he had a halo and he has demon horns and demon wings and a halo at the same time, like, because they're God's knights, but they're evil. They're not really good people. Holy knights, right? I don't know. But I think he was the most like, he's the weirdest one here because he might be it reminded me of the Yeti Cool brothers, right? You remember the Yeti Cool brothers? It was like two Yeti brothers. They were like giants, but they were abominable snowmen at the same time. So I don't know. Like, he might be a giant, he might be a demon. We're gonna find that shit out later. Okay. I think we got her name before with the hat, but I don't remember who the fuck she is. Her, I don't think we've seen her before. Okay. And like I said, these two right here, I don't remember them. So yeah, we're gonna find more out about them later. I think that's gonna happen. I expect that to happen. Especially with this fight in God Valley happening, like they might get paired up fighting different people. Like he might fight Gabon. Like honestly, he might be fighting Gabon. Like they're stepping in, they're giving up the game for a second. They're saying pull back the Navy and protect the Celestial Dragons. Okay. So this is a panel we've seen before, and I was also confused. Let me talk about that for a second. I was confused because we got bits and pieces of God Valley, right? And we only knew the general like happenings, right? We knew that Roger and Garp team up to protect the Celestial Dragons and their slaves, to defend them, I should say, against Rox's crew, Rox's whole crew. Now we have the introduction of the Holy Knights being a thing that exists. So God Valley is already different from what they summarized before, because Holy Knights exist. They protect the Celestial Dragons already, right? So I'm wondering, how will Garp and Roger end up also protecting Celestial Dragons if they have the Holy Knights here? That's the part that doesn't make sense. And it's going to have to be retconned. It's going to have to be some recontextualization behind that shit and around that shit, like it already has been a little bit, because that just wouldn't make sense. Okay, and he's telling the Navy to pull back. That made me think, like, if Garp is there, how come Garp had special permissions to not pull back? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's Garp. I know that's Garp, but like, if the Holy Knights are telling them to pull back, I'm sure they're higher in command than Garp, right? Admiral Garp, or whatever the fuck his rank is right now. I'm sure the Holy Knights, they're higher in the chain than Garp. So if they told the Navy to pull back, I'm wondering, why is it that Garp was still allowed to be there? Is it because he had to be there still because he was already written to be there? I don't know. We're gonna have to see. It's gonna make sense probably. He's gonna make it make sense. I know. Oda does that all the time when he retcons shit. He makes it make sense. So I'm sure we're gonna get the reason, like, because if he's just saying, no, I want to be here, fuck it, Roger's there. I know the Navy did call him, but that order right there, the order right here, pull the Navy back. That order is making me feel like, yo, Garp doesn't have to listen to the Celestial Dragons telling him to pull back. That's what that makes me feel like. But again, I digress. Listen. So we see the Rocks pirates ripping up the whole island. Okay, they're ripping the whole island up. And Garp, that boy, like I said earlier, Roger is a wall. He's the wall that they have to climb over. They have to go around. They have to dig a moat or a trench underneath to avoid. You gotta avoid this wall or break through that motherfucker, because Garp is not going anywhere. It seems like his introduction is highlighting how strong he is, like how important he is to this era. Like he's a part of why God Valley stopped. At least, you know, let the legends be told. That's how the Marines tell it. That's how it was told in the story of One Piece. Like, Garp and Roger did that shit. So like, him throwing a cannonball and making Roger and Rocks turn around like Nani? What the fuck is that? Like, I think that's highlighting it. And the Marines, they're rejoicing like, yo, it doesn't matter anymore. We know there's Rocks. We know it's the Rocks' crew. We know it's Roger and his crew. But Garp is here. That's what that feels like. Yo, it's like what we know Thanos pulled up. We know that's Thanos. We know Goku just blew up a planet and now he's here. But Garp just woke up from his nap. So what the fuck are they gonna do to us? Like, our boy Garp just woke up from his afternoon nap. We don't have to worry anymore. That's what that feels like, honestly. So I don't know if that's just like the Marines glazing him, You know, when they putting the extra Garp, they putting the extra, sauce on his name. I don't know. But Garp feels like he's the biggest problem in God Valley right now, given his introduction. That's all I'm gonna say. I know Rox is a problem, but Rox knows Garp, and he wanted Garp to be in his crew, so he knows he's a problem too. Like, he knows Garp's a problem. I don't know. You tell me. You tell me if this introduction did not feel like they all got their own introduction. They're the big three, okay? They're the big three of this era, okay? Sengoku's not on that list. I guess it's a big four, right? Maybe Garland is in the big four, right? It's the big four, maybe. But the big three on the C's is Rox, Roger, and Garp. And Garp made both of them turn around. That's all I'm saying, okay? That's all I'm saying. So, I guess my final words on this shit is, what retcons will we get? We already got a few retcons, and retcon is a scary word for people, right? When they hear the word retcon, people's immediate thought is to either defend against the accusation that there is even a retcon. Like, they say, oh, it's not a retcon. No. They try to defend it. Or they immediately think because there's a retcon that equals something bad, that equals bad outcome or bad writing, or they change something for the worse. No, retcons are not inherently bad. Okay, that happens all the time. Sometimes they're better because you're going back in hindsight and fixing some shit. So sometimes it's better. Sometimes it's not really a retcon, but the thing was left so vague. It's a plot point that was going to be used later, and it was so vague. And it was vague on purpose so you could fill in the gaps. So for some people, it might feel like, this wasn't planned the whole time. Well, that's because it wasn't, okay? It wasn't planned the whole time. I'm sure Oda, he might have, but he also might have not planned out the entirety and every aspect of God Valley since he ever introduced the concept of God Valley. He might not have done that, okay? It's not a complete, impossible thing for him to have done that, but it's he might not have done that shit, right? So my point is, we might get retcons. That's not a bad thing, given that Garp is pulling up. The Celestial Dragons, the God's Knights are a thing. The Holy Knights are a thing. They weren't always a thing in One Piece. They're here protecting Celestial Dragons already. Dragon's also a key figure in God Valley. I'm sure we all kind of guessed, or maybe predicted that Dragon might be a part of God Valley. But now we know he is, and he's doing things. He has his hands on two of the twins. Like, how does Shamrock get back into Garland's hands? We're gonna have to see exactly how Shanks got in that chest too. And he might have put him in the chest of the fruit that he ate. So, Dragon might eat a fruit at God Valley, and that empty chest he put the baby in. So, just anybody can steal that shit. Like, he was like, yo, fuck it. Anybody can steal it. It doesn't matter who catches the baby, who takes it at this point. As long as he does not make it back to the people the mother told me not to let him make it back to. He probably threw the baby in the chest, knowing that one of the pirates was coming to steal it, and he let them steal it. You know what I'm saying? He probably didn't consider the fact that if he got an asshole pirate crew, they could have just threw the baby in the water. He probably didn't think of that, but it didn't happen. Child of prophecy, that's Shanks, okay? But like I said, it's the end of the chapter, end of the video, damn near. If I think of anything else, add on, put it in the comments. I think I talked about everything. Kaido being super dependent on Linlin, everything's Linlin, okay? Whitebeard, he doesn't seem like he's in the big three of his era. Doesn't mean he's weak, but he's not in the big three, okay? He's not the main focus, at least at any point. He gets his highlight. He's still Whitebeard, but we're more focused on Garp, Rox, and Roger, okay? Barlog, not Barlog, god damn it. This dude right here, my bad, I called the dude Barlog, but cousin man's right here. We gotta see what he do, okay? What's gonna happen? How does Roger and Garp end up protecting the Celestial Dragons? That's my biggest question. I want to see how that ends up happening, and I want to see how Rox dies now, because I don't think Rox is just gonna die to Garp and Roger teaming up on him. He's not gonna die like that, because it was never kind of, you know, framed as a 1v2. It was never framed as a 1v2. It was always the crew versus 2 people. So now that we know his crew is kind of shiesty, they might abandon him at any second for whatever they want. And then he also has to fight for his family there now. That's another factor we never knew. He has to fight for his family at God Valley. So he's there just for that. And then obviously he's successful halfway because Blackbeard gets free and he knows about his lineage. So we got to see all that play out. That's my point. I don't think there's any other points I got to make. Like I said, if I think anything else, I'll drop it in the comment at the bottom of the video. But I think I'm out. That's it for me.